Kevin Costner has long been admired for his quiet confidence and commanding presence, making him one of Hollywood's biggest names. Here are his best moments.
You know, people know this story. You were in that picture along with a lot of good actors. Glenn Close was in there, Bill Hurt,
Kevin Kline,
Goldblum, Mary Kay Place, Jeff Goldblum, and you were in that. Jo Beth Williams. You were in that picture, but you were killed off.
I was.
That's right. It revolved around you. You played Alex.
Right. I think that's why our paths probably haven't crossed, because some of my friends who've come here from Orange County today suggested, you know, maybe Johnny cut you.
That's true. Now,
let's be real. Nobody expected Kevin Costner to answer like this. The host throws him a bold compliment, and his response leaves the entire audience laughing. Then, just when you think it's over, he drops another line that's even funnier.
You know, I didn't project what was going to happen in my life that way.
You're very sexy in person, by the way.
I'm glad one of us said it. You're going to make Kevin Costner blush.
But I know you have like 7 kids and you're, you know what I mean? Just saying.
I have all the stuff, so...
yeah, you have a lot of things
safe
going on.
to say I know what I'm doing.
No one saw this coming. Kevin Costner's own daughter roasted him with one brutally honest sentence, and his reaction had the entire audience laughing.
I was watching Black or White. There's this moment where I'm coming out of a pool, and I was studying it because I didn't want her really in the room, but she came in and sat next to me, and I didn't really feel it because I was really concentrating. And then I get pulled out of the pool, and it's done. And then I look over at her, and she goes, "Dad, you got a fat belly." and I looked at her. What? You know, you got a big belly. And I thought, well, I tried to explain to her character development, that I was going to be a grandpa. My boys and my little girl, they, you know, when I come in the door, it's just time to fight. It's just time to wrestle. And it's like, it used to be all 3 of them. And now my boy's 8 years old, and sometimes he goes, "Stand back, I got him." "Stand back, no, I want this myself."
Kevin Costner was just talking about life on his ranch. Then, one unexpected reply completely flipped the conversation. The ending is even better than the setup, so stick around, and if you enjoy moments like this, hit subscribe for more.
I want to ask you, I know that you have a ranch. Is this in Aspen?
Yeah.
It's probably one of the most beautiful spots in the world is Aspen, Colorado. You have a ranch there. Is this one of those working ranches? Are there livestock?
I'm not pushing cat around, but I work it myself. I build the roads and do all the stuff just because it's what you do.
That is not what I would do. I'd pick up the phone and get someone to build a road.
You do it
I bathed in heavy cream and looked out a window.
You do it if you're with me, because I'd knock on you and say, "Conan, come on, we're up. We're going."
Not now, Kevin. I'm sleeping.
Come on, you.
In this next clip, Kevin Costner shares the unexpected behind-the-scenes adventure he and his stunt double went on in the middle of filming, and it only gets crazier from there.
"You want to go hunt for some mushrooms?" And I said, "What kind of mushrooms?" And the guy goes, "You know, the good kind." I said, "Okay, let's go." So we head out into this field, and he's telling me what they look like, and I'm kind of looking for him. I'm dressed up like Robin, and he's dressed up, you know, like a guy I'm beating up. And we're kind of looking out there, and he finds one, and then he finds another one, and I can't find one. And after he find a few of these things, I said, "Hey man, how do you?" I said, "How come you're seeing them?" And he goes, I said, how did this work?" And he says, "Well, you have a mushroom, and then they tell you where to find the others." And I said, "All right, I get the logic, but we're doing a sword fight right after this." I said, and he went, "You know, that's a good point, too."
Kevin Costner thought he was doing exactly what his dad told him to do, but one innocent decision turned into a family story they'll never forget. Wait until you see where he left the snake.
You know, snakes bothered him so much, even if he sees them on TV, he had to get it like out of the room. You know,
really?
Yeah, one of that kind of guy. And of course, I'm like 6, and I had one, and I said, "Where's Dad?" And she says, in the bathtub, and I'm thinking, my dad doesn't take baths, but he was so filthy. He climbed he was a lineman, and he was in the bathtub, and I thought, this is perfect. He can see it, and I brought a king snake in about a 401, and he about went down the drain. He said, Kevin, I always saying my name real loud, Kevin. And so I get that out of here, get rid of it. So of course I did, and I really I shook him up pretty bad, and I went with my mom, and I said, how bad is he? And she goes, well, he's outside, honey. Just leave him alone. He's relaxing, and he's gonna have a cigarette, and 'cause my mom would make him smoke outside, and all of a sudden I heard my name again, this time louder, and I thought he was relaxing. What's wrong? And I went outside, and there was this like little coffee table where he hid his cigarettes where he wouldn't smoke inside. And that's where I put the snake when he told me to get rid of it. And so he opened it, and it was a big king snake. And so I heard my name again. Where it was always. I was the kind of kid that couldn't remember what I had done wrong. So I thought, what could be?
Those are the worst kind of kids.
I'd already been in trouble. How could I be in trouble twice?
One thing was impossible to ignore. Sharing the spotlight with Sean Connery could be incredibly humbling. Kevin Costner recalled a moment when he thought someone was trying to get his attention until he realized who they were really looking at.
I had that story on my mind when I was with him, and some girl was trying to get my attention, like looking over, and finally I'm kind of done with him, and I think, well, I'll stroll over and see what she really wants. So I did. I walked, and she was behind the ribbon, and I got really close to her, and I said, yeah, and she goes, could you get me Sean's autograph? And I went like, I felt like I had a cigarette hanging out of my mouth like this. I said, yeah, of course.
Kevin Costner accidentally did something during a movie scene that nobody on set expected, and the director's reaction says it all.
I actually was. At one point, I remembered being so nervous that I realized I wasn't acting. I was so nervous I wasn't really doing what I was supposed to be doing. And, I would make sure that the limo driver wasn't really watching. So
correct.
In the middle of the scene, I looked up at the camera, and just off the camera, and I said, what's your name? And I could hear the director in the camera go, who's he talking to? And then I said, Bill, why don't you put the thing up? And then I went back to kissing her and,
Kevin Costner thought this letter would be worth opening, but the numbers inside were so unbelievable, he had to read them out loud.
These movies, I thought were going to pay for this movie. And this is, I swear to God, this is what it is. The Bodyguard, 31 cents. JFK, 94 cents. Night Shift.
This is real.
9 cents. Yes, this is my European residual. So we're going to talk about Europe a little bit. No Way Out, 71 cents. Perfect World, I got $1.35.
Whoa!
Revenge, $1.22. $6.46 for Robin Hood. 54 cents for Silverado. 43 cents for Testament. Tin Cup, I got 78 cents. Untouchables, 67 cents. The War, 34. Waterworld, 87. That's paying for itself. And Wyatt Earp, I got 67 cents, and my accountant had the nerve to say, this check was deposited into your management account, $15.38.
In this clip, Kevin Costner thought he was bringing the coolest thing to kindergarten, but what he carried into class left everyone completely speechless.
And I walked to school, I brought my father's 30-30, which is a rifle. And of course, and the teacher right away, I thought all the other stuff paled compared to what I brought.
Yeah.
But she quickly put it away. She put a note on me because I couldn't read, and it said, Kevin can't be allowed to, I'm guessing, to do this. But that was my first sharing day, so you're kind of really.
You're like Eazy-E walking around Compton with a shotgun.
When Kevin Costner talks about putting his own money behind a film, it becomes clear this was never just another project. His conversation with James Corden reveals the passion, conviction, and personal commitment behind the stories he chooses to tell.
Well, sometimes that's what you have to do if you want to get a good part, I guess.
That's not true. Come on.
Well, it was a movie that wasn't going to get made, and Rob Marshall couldn't turn his back on you, right? When I read this movie, I thought, I have to make this movie. I have to say these words. And it was such a good speech in the end, I thought to myself, I'm the only person that can actually screw this up, too. I lost sleep thinking that I wouldn't do that right. It was important to me.
That you would not get it.
That I would somehow not serve it, and that was important to me to do that.
I can imagine what it must be like to just get up in the morning and look at my reflection and go, yeah, I'm Kevin Costner. I hope you appreciate that, because no one really gets to do that other than you. But congratulations, you were inducted into, and this is pretty cool.